Hey there, everyone. So I have a video for you, and I started recording it earlier, um, and it got deleted. So I'm back, and you'll see on the screen some of the things that I had already recorded for you. My camera is here in front of me, but when I start typing, I go to my giant screen that it's a lot easier to look on. So if you see me look off to the side, that's what I'm looking at. But basically, what I was trying to teach in the last message, we'll go over all of it here, plus more. If you've ever used any of the GPTs, then you're familiar with the names of ChatGPT, Manus, DeepSeek, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity. If not, welcome to the world of GPTs. So they all have their differences. ChatGPT hit the scene late 22, early 23, and everybody was like, whoa, this thing can do what? Like OpenAI had the capital, they had the marketing, and their name just hit the scene. Well, just like any generation of iPhone, of Walkman to CD player to stereo, like every time you do a new iteration or somebody sees your mistakes, they're going to make something better. Hence the different brands of cars, Honda and Toyota and this, that, or whatever. Everybody's going to find something that they're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to tweak this and make it like this. So that's where you get Perplexity came through, and Perplexity is great at citing your work. Claude came through by Anthropic, and Claude is great at writing. So for those people who like to write books, copywriting, or you just want your stuff to be grammatically correct and make sense a lot easier, Claude can do that for you. Manus and DeepSeek are from overseas, and I like those. They go and do things differently, and they have different parameters that they have really infiltrated, U.S. cyber borders in order to get information called scraping or crawling websites. And then what else did I mention? So ChatGPT, Gemini. So Gemini is run by Google. So therefore, if you're looking for things that are really search heavy, I would use Gemini over ChatGPT. But a lot of people just go to ChatGPT because, again, it hit the market sooner. They're OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT. They had the capital to, push it out before everybody else. So it is what it is. But I really like Gemini for the reasons of looking up businesses or looking up things that are located on a map, or they have a telephone number, an email, or things like that of that nature. So for this particular example, we're going to talk about using Claude to really boost up your LinkedIn. Okay, now what's LinkedIn? For those of you that don't know, LinkedIn is a social media platform that is great for professionals. So LinkedIn is where a lot of professionals go. It used to be that LinkedIn was the place where everybody had a presence. They were very uptight. They were very professional, very put together, very kind of, square. I couldn't think of another word, y'all. Sorry if that offended anybody. But I've had a LinkedIn for years and years. Probably at this point over 20 years. Because I remember connecting with people. I don't know. Let me look that up really quick. How long has LinkedIn been around? Because I might be wrong. I'm going to do this general. I'm going to teach y'all about this in a second. But no, I'm going to go ahead and teach you now. So if ever you want to use any of these GPTs, you need to give it a persona. Give it a persona, a task, and an ending benefit, okay? So here I'm going to say activate 0.01% social media iteration start dates for LinkedIn, and tell me in a concise manner, in a concise output, when did LinkedIn start? Okay, that's a lot for that type of a prompt, because you could easily Google and find out, well, when did LinkedIn start? But this is one way that you can take an example of this, screenshot, whatever you want, but activate 0.01% social media iteration expert. Social media platform expert and provide the iteration start dates for LinkedIn in a concise output. And tell me, when did LinkedIn first open its platform to the public? And I'm just curious. Then answer, was it a private platform before that? Okay, let's see what it comes up with. So we're in Claude. Claude is decent at research. I prefer Perplexity for something like this. So I will take this. I'm going to copy it. And this is a great tactic to use too. Feel free to use several of these GPTs to get your answers. They all have free versions. They all have paid versions. Just know when you're using the free version, you likely are going to, oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Be giving up more of your information. And if you don't want to give up a lot of your information, then if I were you, I would get the paid version and have a little bit more control over how much data I share with them and how much I don't. Okay. So I'm going to put this in Perplexity and I want to see what Perplexity comes back with. And we'll go back over to Claude and see what Claude came out with. Okay. Yeah. So I was right. Like, I've been on there for a minute. Now it probably wasn't, did I say 20 years? Maybe it was 20 years. Cause I think I got Facebook in 07, 08. And maybe it was after that I got LinkedIn. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I've been on LinkedIn for a while. LinkedIn is great for networking. And it used to be that it had to be the place where you had to be completely uptight and present your best self because you were presenting your company. And since then, there are people that I follow, and I'll try to pull her up here. YouTube Kelly. Nope, not that Kelly. Kelly LinkedIn. Gosh, what is her name? And watch me be like completely off. What is Casey? I think it's Casey, y'all. Oh my gosh. Casey LinkedIn. There she is. Casey Brown. So, Casey Brown teaches about LinkedIn, and how to be like, I guess like up here, LinkedIn famous. So she had, but what she also teaches is that she had a post that went viral, but it did not lead to any income. So once she figured out how to monetize what she was doing, then she started teaching other people to do that. So yeah, Casey Brown, look her up if you're interested in focusing on LinkedIn only and paying for what she charges for her cohorts. So, but anyway, so LinkedIn has been around for a while. And this is a good example for you to see how I put this prompt together. So I'm telling it who it is. It is a, 0.01% social media platform expert. So if you're 0.01%, you are of the creme de la creme. So I want you to really dig deep. Don't give me some fluff or hallucinations. And sometimes you have to tell these GPTs that too. No fluff, no hallucinations. But, and I told it what I wanted, provide the dates, yada, yada, yada. Give it to me in a concise output. It needs parameters, a lot of parameters. And tell me, when did LinkedIn first open its platform to the public? Then answer, was it a private platform before that? Let's find out. When did LinkedIn open to the public? Yes. Yep. I thought so. It was kind of like the Clubhouse. Remember Clubhouse back in the day? You had to have a special invitation. So LinkedIn, it was private before, during late 2002. That's why I was like, I don't think I've had it the 20 years I thought, but, or more than 20 years that I thought I did. Cause I was just coming out of undergrad during these times. The platform was in a private invite-only development phase used by Hoffman and his founding team to test and build a network before the public launch. So And it went to IPO in 2011, acquired by no one yet, added endorsements, acquired by Microsoft for $26.2 billion 10 years ago. Man, Microsoft just has so much money. So anyway, there is your prompt, and then here is Perplexity. So Perplexity, I gave it the same prompt. Perplexity came back with citations. So it's telling you where it's getting this information from, which is always so helpful because as you can see over here on Claude, it gave us no citations. Okay, so that's something to note. Perplexity will give you citations. For those of you that write papers or those of you that just want to, like prove somebody wrong or prove yourself right, go to Perplexity and that's where you can get your citations. So Claude or ChatGPT might give you citations if you ask for them. I think ChatGPT is doing that now. We'll go over this in a minute. Just because Perplexity came up on the scene, they were like, we see where ChatGPT is going wrong and we're going to give people the research that they deserve. And that's what Perplexity does. Perplexity is the bomb. So iteration start dates, December 2002, and then tells when it went public. Public launch and private before that. LinkedIn first opened its platform to the public on May 5th, 2003. Yes, before that, it effectively operated as a private project in internal development and limited early use. So there you go. There you have it. That was just a curiosity of mine. And that's how a lot of us techie people get into the depths of research, is because one thing will lead to a spark. Oh, I wonder this. And then you start and you research something else. So here you go. This was what I recorded for you earlier and wanted to share on here, was if you give any of these platforms a generic prompt, what will it come back with? So my generic prompt is right here, top right corner. What's in Dallas, Texas? I didn't even put a question mark. Like if people go to any of these GPTs and ask it a generic question, so vague, it's going to give you every bit of information that it can possibly pull and make it super general. Okay. So you see all the stuff that it pulled: the transportation hub, major corporate presence, universities, food and cultural districts, parks and outdoor spaces, shopping districts. Like, okay. Now, Claude, similar question was asked, and I don't know why it's not popping up on the screen, but I asked Claude the same question. And it said, Dallas has a ton to offer. Here's a quick rundown: culture and history, Dallas Museum of Art, entertainment and nightlife, Uptown and Knox Henderson, sports. You got the Cowboys and the Mavericks, shopping, food scene, outdoors, boom. Now, if you go in and you ask these things specific information, like we'll go into in this slide presentation in a moment, then you will notice that they will break down information better. And I'm actually going to make the LinkedIn a separate video because this one is getting a little long because I'm breaking down the GPTs. So when I get passionate about this stuff, y'all, I nerd out. So here we go. Now, I gave it a more specific prompt. Here you go. Bottom right hand of the screen. What's in Dallas, Texas? That's a seafood restaurant, number one. Dallas, Texas, seafood restaurant on Main Street with 5 stars and was featured on MasterChef. Now that is way more specific, right? The only thing that you don't see there, what do you think? Y'all comment down below and tell me what you don't see in this prompt. Okay? Now, what's in Dallas, Texas? That's a seafood restaurant on Main Street with 5 stars and was returned on MasterChef. I just want to see what y'all put down. Okay? I'm not even going to say. I just want to see what y'all do. Okay. The place you're likely referring to is Dallas Fish Market. Why this matches your description: location on Main Street, cuisine, upscale seafood, reviews, often rated very highly by diners, celebrity chef connections. The restaurant's menu and concept were influenced by Chef John Tazar. Recognition: has received acclaim from publications like Bon Appetit. What's it known for? Fresh daily seafood and sushi, raw bar options, dishes like Chiopino. Chiopino is really good. Ooh, it's a seafood stew. Very, very good. Atmosphere, contemporary dining room, popular for date nights, business dinners. Quick tip: if someone told you it had 5 stars and was on MasterChef, they may actually be referring to a chef connected to TV cooking competitions like Top Chef, Food Network appearances, rather than restaurant itself being on the show. Okay? So it will give you something more specific and more detailed if you ask it more specific and detailed information. Otherwise, you're just going to get a whole lot of stuff, okay? But then when you hone it in, it hones it in. It says, boom, this is what you got. Here's the restaurant, location, reviews. You asked for this, this, and this. I'm giving you this, and this, right? Okay, so I'm going to cut this video off here, and then I'll come back and we'll do the LinkedIn video, okay? See y'all on the next one.